Hi friends, I'm Anna and today we're going to do a quick hamstring stretch routine with only 3 exercises. That is all we need. Before we begin, I also want to share some tips with you that are going to help you maximize your results, but of course you also have the option to skip right to the exercises. You'll most likely notice throughout this video that I am not that flexible and that I also struggle with hamstring tightness. So I did some research and I put together a few exercises that are great for beginners. Many stretching routines are a bit too advanced for us, and instead they put a lot of pressure on other parts of our bodies, such as the spine, because we're simply not able to perform them correctly just yet. One thing to keep in mind is that oftentimes tight hamstrings are linked to weak glute max muscles. So both hamstrings and the glute max are responsible for hip flexion. However, when the glute is not developed enough or strong enough, then the hamstrings take on the load to do the job that the glutes should be doing, and therefore they become overactive and tight. So one thing to consider is adding some glute workouts to your routine, and know that you can also find a lot of glute workouts on my channel and more to come in the future. Throughout this routine, I'm going to guide you on how to do these exercises properly, but there are a couple of things that I want you to remember. First, try not to arch your back at all throughout this video and keep your spine in a neutral position. And second, it doesn't matter how much you're leaning forward or how deep you go into the stretch, as long as you keep it safe and you feel the stretch in your hamstrings without going too far, you should be fine. We're not trying to impress anyone, including ourselves. We just want to make progress slowly and safely. Hopefully together we can work on our hamstring flexibility, and by coming back to this video a couple of times a week, for sure we're going to see results. Last, I also wanted to point out that foam rolling is great for tight hamstrings. So if you want me to make some videos on that with some great exercises and routines, then do let me know in the comments below. Before we begin, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe so that we can reach and help as many people as possible. Let's do this.
The first exercise is forward fold. Start by hinging at the hips and lean forward without arching your spine until you feel a stretch in your hamstrings. For the exercises that we're doing today, it's important to hinge at the hips. We want to keep a straight spine and not bend it at all by trying to reach your toes or anything like that. The more you do this, you'll see that you'll start to go deeper and deeper. And you probably noticed that even for me is not too much just yet, and that's okay. Try not to measure progress by how much you can lean forward. Our goal here is to actually feel the stretch in the hamstrings and not put pressure on our spine by bending it. Moving on to the next hamstring stretch on a chair or elevated surface. For many of you, including myself, it's just enough to place your foot on an elevated surface to feel the stretch. But in time, you can also try to go deeper by hinging at your hips and leaning forward. Again, go slowly without curving your back and really take your time. Try not to lock your knee, and instead you can slightly bend the knees so that you can feel more stretch in your hams. During this exercise, try to push the heel onto the elevated surface. Let's do the other side as well. During this time, you can also focus on your breathing a little bit. Try to breathe slowly and deeply. And for our last stretch, we're going to try the lying leg extension with a resistance band. For this one, you can either use a resistance band, a long towel, belt, or even a piece of rope. Start the position by lying on the mat and placing the band on your foot. Firmly hold on to it, and with your knee bent, slowly start to straighten it. Find the right amount of stretch for you and hold. And if you have a hard time feeling it in your hams and instead you feel it more in the back of your knee, then you can try to bring the knee closer to your chest and then straighten the leg as much as you can without forcing it. Now let's repeat on the other side as well. Since we're just starting out, holding each position for 20 to 30 seconds should be enough. When we begin to feel more comfortable, we can start extending that time to even 2 to 3 minutes. And that was it. 3 amazing stretching exercises for hamstrings. I hope you find these stretches useful and feel free to come back to this video anytime you need. Until then, make sure to like and subscribe to my channel and I'll see you again soon.